What's going on, guys? Manic and Bell here. We're going to be starting a new mini-series looking at the new DLC races for Blood Bowl 2. If you want to see any races that we ain't going to cover, let us know in the comments below and we'll have a look. So right, we're going to be starting with the Chaos Dwarves today, so Bell, talk us through the team that you're putting together.
Right, well, as a big Dwarves fan, I was really looking forward to playing these Chaos Dwarves. So I'm going to have a wee look at the units and team composition that I would go with from the start. The real stars of your team are going to be the Bull Centaurs. With their stats and their skills, these are a really versatile character, and you're going to want to have two of these straight off the bat. The next that you want to go with are your Chaos Dwarf blockers, and they're essentially identical to the Longbeards that you get in the Dwarves team. So you're going to have to take 6 of these. These will be your frontline scrimmaging units, and they'll be the ones standing there taking the hits. The Hobgoblins are the ones that you're going to fill up the rest of the bulk of your army with. They're not great units, their stats are okay, but the complete lack of skills is a massive con with these units. But with the lack of money, you're going to have to take them to fill up the rest of your team. Now the Minotaur, I really would like a Minotaur in my team, but the problem is the money, and you need to buy rerolls, and the 70,000 price tag of the rerolls at the start is quite steep. But once you've built your team and you buy rerolls afterwards, that goes up to 140,000 per reroll. So you really kind of have to sacrifice that Minotaur for the rerolls and then essentially pick up the Minotaur afterwards. Otherwise, you're going to cripple yourself with no rerolls. And that is the composition that I would go with to begin with.
Cool, so let's have a look at how they play with some highlights from a game that we played earlier. One thing I noticed when we was playing that match was the Hobgoblins didn't really seem to do much. I didn't notice them in the game like you would other units that Dwarves and the Chaos Dwarves have. Would you say you can use them as runners?
Yeah, they definitely have the ability as runners, although with their low agility, I mean, it's a bit of a hit or miss situation trying to pick up the ball. But if you can get the ball in their hands, their movement's half decent, so you can move them about. I mean, they're not going to be standing taking hits, so they're definitely handy to try and keep people guessing where you're going to be moving with them. I think that's essentially where they're going to lie, is their ability to move about the park and try and get people to move their forces to cover them.
Yeah, I see that. Maybe use them as a bit of a distraction, maybe sort of got to have someone on them.
Yeah.
To get through. Cool. During the game, one thing that really bothered me was the Centaurs. They seemed quite effective and a right nightmare to mark and keep up with, and that it stopped me from being attacking. What would you say they bring to the team?
The real versatility with the Centaurs is probably the amount of pitch they can cover. They've got high movement, and their skills allow them to move extra yards with their sprint and sure feet. So these guys are going to be able to move. Plus, they have quite high strength 4, so they can definitely stand and fight as well. And an armor rating of 9, they're not going to be easy to take down. So they're definitely handy for moving about the pitch.
What would you put on them once you've got them leveled up a little bit? What would be your go-to skills?
Well, I'd definitely put block on them. That's the one thing I really miss with this team that the Dwarves have, is the fact that every Dwarf has block, and that on a Centaur to keep them up would definitely be an advantage and something that I would go for first.
Yeah, I see that. That would make sense. Right, so onto the Minotaur, the big one. With no Minotaur, like you said at the start, with the rerolls costing so much, would you say is a must to get? Would you go for a reroll next, or definitely the Minotaur?
I would pick up the Minotaur. I don't essentially think that it's a hindrance not having the Minotaur at the start, but having him there would definitely help when you're fighting the more bashy teams that have people with high strength, especially on the starting line of scrimmage. He would definitely even that out and give you a lot more of a impact at the start.
So, would you say switching out the Minotaur for the Death Roll is a good thing? What would you say the main difference is there?
Well, the main differences I would say is the Death Roller is a guaranteed shot each turn, whereas the Minotaur, he is that wild animal. which means he's not a guaranteed turn. It's a bit hit or miss. You never really know whether he's going to get a shot in, which for me, personally, I don't like that. And that's always what I enjoyed about the Death Roller, was that he didn't have any wild animal or really stupid, so you were always going to be able to hit people. But then the downside of the Death Roller is that you get sent off after a touchdown or a half, so you need bribes really, because you want to keep him on the park. But I mean, if I had to make a choice, I'd rather have the Death Roller back, but that's just me.
So you'd say you're definitely missing the Death Roller than the Dwarf team?
I wouldn't say I miss him essentially, but I would definitely prefer to have him in the team. Maybe some sort of Chaos Death Roller would be nice, but hey, I've got a Minotaur and I've got to go with that. So
overall then, with using Dwarves quite a bit and being quite fresh but still getting used to the Chaos Dwarves, would you say that having more variety in the team suits the Dwarf style of play, or would you rather go back to basics and just castle up with the standard Dwarves?
It's definitely a change of pace. They play an awful lot different. This team moves quite fast, so you can definitely pick up and run with the ball. It's not got the same slow, methodical approach that you have with the Dwarves. I've got to say I'm really enjoying it. As a fan of Dwarves, I think this could take over from Dwarves for me. The Chaos Dwarves, that versatility definitely suits those Chaos Dwarves. I like it. I'm definitely liking it so far.
Okay, so you're pretty certain you're going to stick with the Switch, or you're still feeling the ground a little bit?
I'm probably going to switch. I've got to say, those Centaurs, they're something else. They're probably one of my favourite units in the game so far. And even losing my Death Roller, I've got to say I think I'm going to go with the Chaos Dwarves.
Right, cool. So, definitely sticking then. That'd be nice not playing Dwarves anymore.
Well, we'll wait and see how good I get with these guys first before you say that.
That's it, you've still got Dwarves in the team, that's all you need.
Exactly, you might be regretting those words.
Well, so would you say they are a decent army then overall? Something that you rate quite highly?
Oh yeah, 100%. Quite possibly my favourite army in the game now, without fail.
Happy days then. Happy days. Right, well, thanks for watching guys, and let us know what you think of the Chaos Dwarves in the comments below. How would you build your army, and what would you change compared to what Bell did? If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more army breakdowns and that, if you could leave a like and drop a subscribe, that'd be awesome. And tomorrow we're going to be uploading Khemri, so be sure to check that out. And thanks again guys. Bye.